Mr. Alley.
I would say no to unification for several reasons. One, there is an intuitive idea that by combining services you will save money, but for reasons that my co-candidates have shared, I think that sometimes runs against reality. I think the other thing that was not brought up but is a significant factor, especially when you look at the GPD and the Alachua County Sheriff, which is the one that's most often put up front as the one that would be consolidated first. You're talking about cultural issues between and management styles, quite frankly. And so the expectation that you are going to be able to blend two different organizations quickly, efficiently, and save a lot of money in the process, I don't think is necessarily a correct one. I think beyond that, though, and at the real root of the issue is that it doesn't address our fundamental problem, which is that we're not growing our economy. That instead of looking at ways that we can save, and we should, or cut, and we should, or raise revenues, and we shouldn't, we're not talking at all about the fact that we have a incredible workforce in this area, one of the highest, if not the highest in the state, percentage of populations with a college degree or better, and we have chronic underemployment and unemployment in the private sector. And I believe that is because that our elected officials at the city and county level, but let's talk about the city in particular, for too long have made it either not a priority at all or a very low level priority, putting many, many things that are quite frankly divisive and controversial ahead of what we all agree on, which is we need jobs.
Thank you, Mr. Alley. Mr. Fitzpatrick.
I would defer it to the unions, the firefighters union and the police and the sheriff's union. These are the people that create all the wealth. These are the people that do all the work. I've found management just to get in the way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick. We will move on to question 3, which is the last question, and we will begin with Mr. Wells. If you were to accomplish one goal during your term as commissioner, what would it be?
I would say that the number one goal that I would have is promoting the vibrancy of the local businesses located throughout District 4's neighborhoods. If you look at the Main Street corridor, the Waldo Street corridor, University Avenue, East University Avenue, Southwest 13th Avenue, Street, 6th Street, these are all corridors that are central to the well-being of our neighborhoods, and frankly, they don't reflect the vibrancy of the residential neighborhoods on either side. And frankly, the main reason I think that is that we have not done a really good job at promoting our small and local businesses, our entrepreneurs, that currently many of them are stay-at-home moms and dads. We can do a much better job at promoting this. Sometimes our development review process, well-intended though it is, gets in the way of these very small business people getting out and expanding their businesses and frankly, hiring folks. We know from experience throughout the country and certainly in Gainesville that the small businesses are often the ones that come out of recession first and begin to hire and can make the quickest difference without a lot of subsidy, has been mentioned, by the tax increment financing and other means. They go out and do it just because it's their passion, because it's what they want to do in their life. They want to get something ahead. And I believe that will make the biggest single difference in the well-being of our neighborhood, the sustainability of our community, and frankly, in answering many of the concerns about jobs and employment opportunities in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. Ms. Wheat.
Thank you. We face many challenges in Gainesville, but the threat to our drinking water supply is a significant one. The United States Environmental Protection Agency has proposed a scheme that places the interests of the Koppers Corporation over the interests of our community's public health. If elected, I would ask my colleagues on the City Commission to join me in creating a clean water strike force composed of the City Commission, the County Commission, the University of Florida, Santa Fe College, and other stakeholders in the community. And the intent would be to get the attention of our nation's leaders in Washington, D.C. to finally stop all the delays, clean up the Superfund site to residential standards safe for our residents.
Thank you, Ms.
And
Sweet.
I believe that is the only way that we will get the attention of Washington to clean up the site and protect our public health.
Excuse me. Thank you, Ms. Wheat. And Mr. Alley?
Yes, thank you. I'd say the one goal that I'd be interested in accomplishing or working towards during a commission seat time in office would be jobs and job creation. It's the only thing I'm talking about tonight. It's the only thing that I've been talking about because I think it is the single driver that affects everything else that we want to do in this town. I think that we don't talk about it enough. We talk about everything else except it. We discuss ad nauseum things at times, but we don't talk about the fact that, quite frankly, there's a large percentage of our population in town who believes that we are job unfriendly, that we want to keep Gainesville exactly the way it is, and it's true. Yeah, I mean, you may not agree with that, and I respect your opinion, but go and talk to other people. And the problem with that is if we keep everything exactly the way it is right now, and we don't change anything because maybe we're comfortable or we're successful or we can take care of our own bills when we go home at the end of the month. What that does is it freezes in time exactly the state of where we are as a city. And that means that the east side of town is going to be frozen in chronic unemployment. And that means that the working families in this town are going to be frozen in chronic underemployment. And it means that other businesses are going to be scared to come into town because they feel like a David coming up against a Goliath. We need to change our reputation. It's the only goal that I would have in coming in, and I think it would drive every other great thing that we want to do as a city, including great schools, great neighborhoods, a great environment. I think it all starts with great jobs.
Thank you, Mr. Alley. Mr. Fitzpatrick?
I'd get rid of the 130 limit that they have on, that the city commission has imposed upon the poor people of Gainesville. They're turning away hundreds of people each day at St. Francis House. This is the elderly, babies, pregnant women, battered spouses. The city commissioners know better than this. They're tied into this new urbanism, and even though a couple of them are my heroes as civil rights activists and human rights activists, I think it can be fairly said that they're in the back pocket of the downtown developers whose only interest is quarterly profits. And we have people that are sleeping tonight in this 26-degree weather. We need to do what needs to be done to get these people a place to stay. There's a major problem in Gainesville. We've tried to criminalize what's going on with the homeless instead of humanizing it. And it's terrible out there, folks, and I appreciate what you all have done. A lot of people have done. They've defied the city and have gone downtown and fed these people. You know, I mean, I think it's wonderful. I've seen elderly men in line with children behind them, and the elderly men see that they're going to be fed, but the children won't, and they give up their places in line. The people of Gainesville have said no to this meanness, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick.